warning before you listen. This epic is not for children, nor for the faint of heart. We retell the ancient Greek myths as they were born, unfiltered, unsoftened. Scenes of violence, curses, betrayals, and a hunger for power that shows no mercy. Given the many conflicting versions of the Titan War, the events have been rebuilt to complete the missing pieces. Here, we tell the myth as it was meant to be told. Sources and references are listed in the episode description.
Chapter 14. From the Titan War, clash of weapons, and the fall of time. The birth of the first lightning, when a weapon was forged for the sake of a scream. The pact of the 7 mountains had barely cooled when the question began to rot in the belly of silence. How do you break thrones? What kind of hand can strike down a titan without breaking itself? Rage alone was not enough. It needed an edge. It needed a sound that could split bone, not just air. Zeus was the first to speak. He didn't shout. He didn't preach. His voice flickered, like a flash that hadn't yet struck. I don't want a war of words. I want a lightning bolt, one that, if it falls, brings the wall of the sky down with it. They turned their eyes to the mountains, to those who hadn't been summoned since the first revolt, to the beings who didn't speak, they forged. The Cyclopes, 3 brothers, Brontes, whom thunder mimics, Steropes, whose touch makes fire scream, Arges, who doesn't see light, he creates it. They emerged from beneath the molten rock. They wore no armor. Their skin carried metal like a curse. Each had one eye, but that single eye saw what no heart could bear.
They did not kneel. They did not salute. They did not ask questions. The eldest said, "Show us who you want to burn, and we will forge you a fire that only dies when your voice does." Poseidon cried out, "Not in thirst, but like a man drowning from how long he's been waiting. I want a spear, one that when it strikes the continents tremble. When it's raised, kingdoms split like paper boats." Hades didn't request, he whispered, "Make me a shadow, one that life forgets, a helmet not to hide my head, but to make existence forget I was ever there." And so, fire began to do what screams could not. In the depths of a valley the sun had never seen, the Cyclopes ignited their forges, not with coal, but with hell older than myth. They hammered iron. The first spark fell like the sigh of the earth being cut from her own side. They crafted 3 weapons, unlike anything the world had ever held. Zeus's lightning bolt was not fire. It pulsed. It throbbed like the very nerve of vengeance. Brontes handed it over and said, "If your hand trembles, it will ignite you. If you lie to it, it will burn your tongue." Poseidon's trident didn't move. It roared. So long it felt like the sea itself had been compressed into its shape. Steropes said, "If you are the ocean, you'll need no ship. This spear is drowning for those who do not know the path of wrath." Hades' helmet was not spoken of. Arges didn't say a word when he gave it. He simply placed it on the ground, and it vanished. Then he said, "Whoever wears it will not return as they were, not because it hides them, but because it shows them what should never be seen." Zeus stood and raised the bolt, but it did not blaze. Arges, without lifting his gaze, said, "Lightning does not serve those who don't know its name. Carry its weight before you dare command it." Did Zeus rage? No. He lowered his eyes and understood. The Cyclopes did not wait for thanks. They closed their forges and vanished as they came, without warning, without farewell. But in the air, something remained, as if the fire used to forge those weapons hadn't been extinguished.
It was waiting. And so the weapons were born, but the war was still in the womb. This chapter of the epic has come to an end, but remember, what you've just heard is not a record of facts, but the echo of a myth, a story born from the imagination of the ancients, etched into the long memory of humankind. If this tale stirred something in you, if it opened a door to reflection or wonder, don't forget to support the channel and share the journey with those you love. And in the comments, tell us, which moment in this chapter struck you the most and why? We'll meet again in the next chapter of this audio odyssey through time. Until then, farewell.